Hi, Marie here. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you some noteworthy Zara fragrances that my friend from Deep Green Beauty lent me. So these, I've got 4 of them here. They're all pretty fabulous. So I wanted to talk about them because they're so affordable. So I think each one ranges around $30. And yeah, they're decent longevity. The smells, they're kind of all dupes for very popular fragrances. So I can't wait to share them with you. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird and Wonderful family. I would love to have you part of the community. And without further ado, let's get into this. So 4 fragrances by Zara. They're just amazing, and they're inspired by, although they never say that they're inspired by, which kind of always bothers me. So, but they're definitely noticeable inspired versions of very popular fragrances. So the first fragrance that I have to share with you today is called Sublime Epoque by Zara, and this is an inspired version of Armani's My Way. Definitely, to me, as soon as I smelt it, that's what I thought of, was Armani's My Way fragrance. Now, My Way, it's a beautiful kind of slightly citrusy, juicy tuberose fragrance. So it has a little bit of zest with a little bit of bergamot in it, a little bit candy-like, you know, those sweet kind of tuberosy florals. Some people say it smells a little bit like gummy bears. Others say it smells a little bit bubblegummy. I find it to be a little bit grapey. And I really enjoy My Way. I had really considered buying it. The only problem is that I put it on, and at first I'm like, this is the most amazing fragrance ever. But then as it dries down on my skin, it gets really gross. Somehow it turns and it just smells kind of rancid and horrible on me. So it was a definite, absolute no. But then I tried this, and this stays nice on me. So this stays kind of like really linear. The dry down is very similar to the way it opens. It smells a little bit grapey, a little bit gummy bear, sweet tuberosy. This also, you know, it could, like, I can see some people thinking it smells a little bit like L'Interdit by Givenchy, but L'Interdit is a lot more, it's a lot more syrupy and thick, whereas something like My Way, I think it fits better because there's a little bit of a delicate, thinner consistency to the scent. So I really enjoyed wearing this one. It lasts decent amount on my skin, like I got about 5 hours, and I really thought that it stayed nice the whole entire time. So this may be one that I will consider getting. That said, it does remind me a lot of L'Interdit. So, you know, I've got L'Interdit, I've got So Scandal. They all kind of fit in the same category. So I'm not sure that I will purchase this one, but I definitely really enjoyed it. And if you want a more affordable version of My Way, or you really like My Way, but you don't want to spend the cash, check out Sublime Epoque. It's really close. Like with all inspired versions or more affordable versions, a lot of times they're a little bit thinner, not quite the same, but you really do get that feel to it. So highly recommend this one. So the next fragrance that I have for you from Zara is called Golden Decade. Now this is similar to YSL's Libre Intense. So it has that same feel. As soon as I smelled this, I thought it smelled like Libre. So it's really, like, it's a lovely fragrance. It definitely has a vanillic edge to it. And again, I thought to myself, well, I'm not really a fan of Libre or Libre Intense. Like, they're just okay to me. But then I thought, oh, maybe I should get this so that I have it in my collection. But honestly, after wearing it, this one was super long lasting. Like, it lasted like about 7 hours on my skin, projected really nicely. So like decent perfume here. The only thing is I'm just not crazy about the Libre line in general. Like the scent profile just does nothing for me for some reason. So this would be one that I wouldn't bother buying. Now, if you have Libre and you're wanting an intense version, but you don't want to spend the cash because you're like, they're similar. This might be a great option for you because it's really decent, but it's like $30. So definitely something to consider. It's nice enough. It just, I don't enjoy the scent profile for whatever reason. So this is a no for me. But if you're wanting to have something like Libre and you don't want to spend the money, this is a fantastic option. Like, all of these are fantastic options, seriously. The next fragrance I have for you is Rose Gourmand. This is inspired after Roses Vanille by Mascara. Now, Roses Vanille by Mascara. Now this has similar qualities to it, but to me this one falls flat. I've got Roses Vanille here, and there's a real depth to this one. This one has lemon in it. There's lemon, there's sugar, there's rose. So you get that sweet, dense rose, but the sweetness is amped up in Roses Vanille, and that like tart kick is definitely more substantial in the Mascara version. It's also got a depth to it that is definitely lacking in Rose Gourmand. This has a little bit of a spicy quality, but it's not got that lemon in it per se. Like, it doesn't feel like there's lemon in this. So you're missing that tartness. So to me, it feels like this is the shell of Roses Vanille. So it's just the outer edge of Roses Vanille, but you don't get the same depth, you don't get the richness, you just get the shell. So that's how I would describe this one. If you really enjoy that profile but don't want to spend the money, this gives you a similar feel, similar vibe, but like I said, it's missing the depth. So this one definitely fell flat for me. The last one is one of the Joe Love's creations, and it's called Fashionably London. And this is, first of all, I really actually appreciate the presentation in this one. You get a little card in there, and then the perfume is in here, very similar to all the Joe Love's fragrances. So this one's called Fashionably London. Some people feel that it smells like Delina. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when I smelled this on Deep Green Beauty, I went over to her house, I gave her a hug, and I could smell, I said, "Are you wearing Delina?" And it wasn't Delina, it was this. So that totally intrigued me. So I couldn't wait to get this home and try it. I have to say that it isn't, again, it feels like the outer shell of Delina. So there's this, you know, you get kind of like the outer edges of it. So when I took a whiff of it, I instantly thought Delina. It's got that same scent profile. There's some rose. There's a little bit of spiciness to it, but it's way, like, it's not near got the depth that Delina has. There's a powdery quality to this one. There's definitely that rose. It feels a little hint of woodiness to it. There's a sweetness to it, but it's not overpoweringly sweet at all. Just kind of a sweetness from the rose. It's a very pleasant scent, but if you're wanting a Delina dupe, there are better dupes out there. This to me it's not the same at all once you get it on your skin and it sits there for a while. So like I said, the first whiff, that's the first thing I thought of when I tried it on my skin. Fashionably London has bergamot, rose, and musk in it. Like, seriously, when I first smell it, and when I smelt it on Deep Green Beauty, definitely got that like a little whiff of Delina, and I asked her if it was Delina. That said, it feels like the shell of Delina. So you get this rose quality. There's a little bit of powdery sweetness to it. There's a little bit of spice or almost woodiness. And it's really pleasant, but it certainly doesn't have the depth and substance that Delina has. That said, if you don't like the rhubarb quality, to me that's missing in this completely. It's got a little bit of tartness from the bergamot, but definitely not as overpoweringly tart. So this is definitely worth checking out. It certainly is a nice fragrance, but it doesn't hold a candle to Delina as far as, you know, the quality and the depth of that fragrance. There are better dupes out there. If you're wanting a beautiful rose, kind of a little bit of spicy quality to the rose with a little bit of musk, it's a little bit sexy, this is a great option, but it's certainly isn't Delina. So it's the shell of Delina. It has that feel, but it certainly doesn't have the substance. Hope that makes sense. Now, as far as the longevity on this one, it was okay. Like, it wasn't amazing, but I got about 5 hours out of this. I would say this was the poorest performer out of all the fragrances. Definitely found that the ones in this shape bottle last longer. So out of these, I would definitely say that Sublime Epoque and Golden Decade, really nice fragrances. I especially liked Sublime Epoque. Definitely better to me than the original My Way. This one I'm really impressed with. Not crazy about Golden Decade because I don't really like Libre. So that's a no. As far as Rose Gourmand, it's a shell of the original. So for this one, I would want to spring for the original over getting the dupe. Or the kind of similar one. So Fashionably London, it's actually a really nice fragrance. Like I said, it doesn't have the same depth as Delina, although it's Delina-esque because I thought it was Delina. It's like a spicy, musky rose. Really pretty. Not got the same longevity as the others, and there are better Delina dupes out there if you're looking for that. But if you're wanting something that's similar to Delina, but without that rhubarb and kind of the, you know, that quality, then this is a really good option to check out. I highly recommend checking it out. Honestly, all of these, definitely recommend checking out these lines because they're so decent. The longevity is actually pretty decent on all of them. They're so affordable. So really good quality fragrances. And honestly, Zara has definitely upped their game as far as quality because they are lasting a lot longer. So even though they're not exact, they're still nice perfumes in their own right. So if you're not comparing them to an original, which Zara, it's not like they're saying, you know, this is like this or anything like that. So if you're not comparing them, then honestly, they're beautiful perfumes on their own. So anyway, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts of these fragrances? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that they're terrible? Do you think they're amazing? Please weigh in the comments. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week. We'll talk to you soon.